Those who don't know, when we say a chaplain, some people think it's just that person who they pray with the person who's about to die in the hospital.
Sorry. I didn't even hit record.
I knew it!
Dude!
I knew it!
Let's talk story. Let's talk story.
Hit record. All right. Still learning how to use this podcasting equipment here at the home studio, Pandemic Studio Live. Here at here with my lovely wife Jay and our special guest, Mr. Sivasa Laupati.
Glad to be here.
East Menlo.
Yes, in the house. In the place to be.
Yes.
Just for all of those who you don't know what's going on, we just had some awesome content that we had to talk about before this live content portion of the show.
Practice is important.
Yes,
Okay.
Practice isn't. We're still learning how to podcast, but like we were saying before, let's rewind. So what you're saying is we started this podcast because of COVID. I mean, like, we don't go out very much anymore. We just like staying at home. And for those of you who are following us on Instagram and stuff, I mean, we have a little bit of a home gym on one side of the house. Yeah. And we decided to create a studio on this side of the house. And so me and Keoks, like we talk story all the time and, you know, on the table, on the dinner table, and we talk for hours. And I'm like, man, it'd be so good. Like some of this content that we're talking about, we should record it sometime, right? And so like this is where this podcast came around called Talk Story. And it's basically just getting together with our family and friends. And just, I feel like nowadays everyone is just on a news feed, whether it's on Facebook.
Comment.
Yeah, and you don't really have conversations anymore. So you don't really get to know people and what's going on. You get a picture, you get a video, you get one comment, but nobody takes time to know each other anymore.
But there's a care button now on Facebook.
Oh, there's a care button. Oh,
That's my new favorite. Next to the thumbs up.
But I think it's so cool that we can record some of these conversations because we were just talking about, like, I mean, Voss, how long have we known each other now?
We've known each other for some time.
Yeah.
22 years, guys.
Wow.
22 years,
Jay was the one that said the number.
Yes.
Which carry the 4 minus the 3 was like 1996 or something.
97.
97, 98.
It's all gone in one huge spin.
Yeah, no, I saw one meme, friends don't share, let friends have to keep scrolling down to get to their age and let them know that maybe they're way back there, right? So, but so we've known each other
since there was Rolodex. If you don't know that,
I had my pager, man. I had
man.
my numeral. Talk about commenting.
Oh,
Stop
man.
it.
If you didn't want your folks to understand what you wanted to tell them, we had what's called pager code.
Yeah.
We spelled out words using numbers.
Oh
so
my
you
goodness.
Chirins that think you have it hard.
Oh, you guys got emojis now and whatever, hashtagging and stuff, man.
I had it hard because I was blind and that pager was so small. I was like, is that an 8 or a 1 and 2? What letter is that?
And then they made the glow-in-the-dark pagers like that was
Yes.
supposed to make any difference. Like,
No.
But anyways, we were talking about just like life's journeys and how, COVID's kind of brought everything into perspective. But, I know that your journey through college and everything else and brought you to this place now where you're at Loma Linda, right? Loma Linda University to become a chaplain. I know that's been a long time dream. How's it been going?
It's been going great. I mean, in all honesty, I dread school. Props to those who love school and do well. I don't like school, but I do well. I don't even know how that works.
Yeah,
but it's way different from undergrad and from high school, and where I'm actually applying myself, because aside from maybe a little bit of loans I get, everything I'm paying. So it's like, okay, I've got to do this correctly, and so it's been a challenge. I've been learning a lot too. Yeah, so it's crazy.
And we were talking about, like, we had a conversation before that your classmates are kind of like in age is like pretty fast.
Yeah. One of my classmates is 65, and then another one is he just turned 30 these past couple months. And then there's me. I'm not gonna say my age.
21.
And then 21
Sure.
plus. And then there's another classmate of mine who's 23. So just having that broad range is like seeing all the different angles of life, it really wakes me up to, because I guess when you get to a certain point in life, you think you know everything, but then you hear it from a 23-year-old's point of view. I'm like, what? And then it's from a 65 and then 30. I'm like, man, I got a lot to learn.
Yeah, that's actually a beautiful thing, because like, again, like we live in the age of just being on a news feed.
Yeah.
We just commenting and looking at somebody's picture or video, and sometimes we just don't take the time to get to know people, and sometimes people's perspectives are just amazing when we take some time to know them, right?
Just to sit down and listen, even.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So
Tell us about this chaplaincy, though, because when people hear the word chaplaincy, they think that you're that person in the hospital who either does the last rites or says the last prayer, comforts the family. What all goes into a chaplain?
So that's a huge part of it as well. Chaplaincy is, you can look at it as spiritual assistance.
Wow.
And it's not necessarily that we go in there immediately talking about God.
Right.
Because many of the people that we visit are not Christian, or they're non-believers. Right. They don't believe in any type of. So the biggest thing we go in to do, and I've learned this, is having the power of presence.
Yeah.
Because oftentimes, we're in there, and I'm saying we because I feel as though chaplaincy is a part of healthcare.
Sure.
Nurses and doctors, therapists, you guys are so busy and you do so well at your job. But the last aspect, or one of the aspects we tend to look over, is the spiritual aspect.
Yeah.
And part of that is sometimes just sitting there and listening, because we can give them all the healing we want, and the medicine may be doing its job, but it just takes for that person to want to decide to heal. And sometimes it's because they're holding on to something. So we come in as chaplains, we advocate for them, the family. We even advocate, or we also assist the staff, the nurses, the doctors, the therapists, and we go in and we just listen.
Yeah.
Half of the time we're not even talking, and visits can range anywhere from 10 minutes to an hour. Wow. And you'll see anywhere between, 5 or 6 patients, or even, it depends on where you are. But it's being there, being present for families and people who just need someone to listen to them. And it's amazing, because then it brings everything you guys do, and it makes it into this one huge ball, and it works.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Has there been anything that you've experienced already? And have you started your clinicals yet?
I have not started my clinicals, but here's the crazy thing. I've been doing so much chaplaincy work.
Nice.
Wow.
And I haven't been in the hospitals exactly, but just having friends call me who I haven't heard from in a long time, and oh, hey, what's up? And then all of a sudden, with just me saying, so what's going on? It's either a 15-minute conversation that turns into 2 hours, and it's just listening. But I think the closest thing I've done to chaplaincy work is working with a ministry called Fusion. Okay. And they are based out of San Bernardino, and they go and feed the poor, feed the homeless and the poor. So it's been a great ministry. I had to stop because when COVID hit, I didn't know. I wanted to protect, the people we were working with too. Plus, I had school. Sure. But I haven't really gotten to the. Actually, you were the one that brought me into it. I don't know if you remember. You were working at Loma Linda Hospital. This is back when you were living down there. Okay. And you were living with like OJ and someone else. You were living in that corner house in Loma Linda. And you called me up. It was me and Jason. You go, what are you guys doing? We're just chilling in the dorm on Sabbath. And he's like, can you mind bringing ukuleles over? I'm like, sure. And I forgot what section of the hospital you were staying in. 9 West.
Oncology floor.
Yes. It was like, or 9. A lot of these people, they're kind of, I'm like, all right. And so we went and started singing to these people. And you were like, hey, would you like anybody to come in and sing? It was me, OJ, Jason. Yeah, just us 3. And we were just singing to everybody. Oh, nice. And that was the first, or maybe that was like the first or second time I heard the word chaplaincy. That's what chaplains do. Like, wow. Oh, that's interesting. So.
Yeah, man, that was a long time ago. I mean,
that was, and that was what started it.
That floor, though, for if they ever get to listen to this, that was probably some of the best nursing training that I've ever gotten. Wow. I mean, just the total person care, especially with someone that has a diagnosis like cancer, leukemia. I still remember the first handful of patients that passed away on me, all under 30, all impacted my life, and I still remember their families and crying with nurses, doctors, social workers, chaplains who were there, and really just letting someone die with dignity. And that's something that I learned there at Loma Linda. It's a great place to learn that stuff. And I remember some of the chaplains there, and they were just very, like you said, they didn't have to say much. They were just there and present.
Yeah.
And that's the crazy thing. We kind of started talking about this, but that people, they're not present. Because we're all having to shelter in place and be, and it's like this opportunity that we're having to dialogue and be present with each other. There's something about it. There's something about the spirit of being together. And I think that is probably one of the most frustrating things that we have to deal with COVID, right? Is that, and then even when we are outside, we're wearing masks, we're all covered up, we're not really, we're hiding who we really are, and it's like, I'm smiling. Well, at least you can see it in my eyes.
Yeah.
Smize. It's called smize. Smiling with your eyes.
That's what I heard now. It's the new term, smize.
Well, it's interesting because in talking about that and smiling with your eyes, it was one patient there on that unit that was the last one we visited, and I'll never forget. It was an older lady. She had these piercing, I want to say either blue or green eyes, and it was very hard for me because she had the clear mask and all these chords and things, and sat down. I didn't know what to sing. Like, what do you? I was just shocked because I had never seen anything like that before. So I sat down, and the first song that came to my mind, I was like, we're going to sing a song. It's called Kanaka Vai Vai. It's a Hawaiian song. I don't know why I wanted to sing that song specifically. We were singing like choruses and hymns and these other songs in these other rooms. And so I started singing that, and I just got overtaken with emotions because, musicians are emotional. But so I was overtaken with this emotion because I'm like, what am I doing here? They need to have like a real person come in here. So I had to close my eyes. And when I opened my eyes, I just remember seeing her. She was just swaying, and she had this big smile, even with this mask on.
Wow.
And it was crazy because 2 weeks later, Jason Makapulai came to visit me over at La Sierra. He brought me this note from the family, said that we appreciate you singing to our mother. She kept swaying after you left, and she died, shortly after that.
Oh, wow.
So it was that impacted me. I'm like, I can't be a pastor. Not because there's anything wrong with that. I was like, I got to be a pastor like that.
Yeah.
And that's where chaplaincy started.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's powerful when you get to touch a family's life. And some of the things that I do now, being a nurse practitioner, is that, I see patients and, I'm kind of in and out of the rooms. But it's pretty crazy now. Like, I never thought that I'd end up in pain management, and working with people that are suffering with chronic pain, and working in the ER for so long. We think of these patients as really tough patients to deal with, and like, oh man, how am I gonna deal with all this stuff? But after being there almost 2 years now, like I have these repeat patients that come to me now, and they're like, I come here not so much now for just the medicine.
Yeah.
I come here because you listen. And I really appreciate that you make me feel like I'm being heard. And I'm like, man, I don't feel like I'm doing anything different. I'm just trying to, be as kind as possible and just, be as thorough as I can. But something about just being present and treating them as people versus a diagnosis is a huge thing.
Yeah.
I know Jay has tons of stories where, in her realm, women's health, that she's had those same experiences, but
I think at the end of the day, we all want the same goals. As humans, we want to feel like we're heard. We want to feel loved. And that's our goal as healthcare providers, as chaplains, to be that listening ear, to spread kindness and positivity in this world, especially today. It's getting nuts out there, and kindness goes a long way. So I always knew you would do something awesome and impactful in many people's lives, not just ours, boss, but,
Praise God.
Just the people that you touch and reach. And you've always had that therapeutic voice and spirit. And I had no doubt.
Tears.
I had no doubt as your adopted sister that you would finish this journey. And I just want to let you know, we're so proud of you. Yeah. We always got your back. Praise God. These little Filipino people, we're stronger than we look.
I believe that.
We got your back, bro.
I believe that.
You got this journey.
How much longer do you have?
I'll be going into my second year in September. So it's crazy. I was like, yo, that's a year?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I'll be
Fast.
going into my second year, unfortunately, because of, I think you called it C19.
C19, yeah.
Because of C19, everything is going to be done via Zoom this first quarter.
It's rough.
But it's great. It's great. I think one thing I wanted to add is I love that we also get to talk to nurses.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we were doing something in class, and I made that comment. I was like, you know, some of the most strongest people I know are nurses. I'm not just saying this, but because of that, sometimes it's like they don't know where they're supposed to go.
Yeah.
So nurses usually only talk to nurses, but sometimes when that's not available, that's where chaplains come in.
Yeah.
And I love that because, you know, we were talking about like, how can we need to build a relationship with the nurses. And so we're like, how can we do it? And I was like, take them food. And they were like, for real? I was like, look.
That is true.
I've worked in hospitals before. I've lived with nurses. And one thing that we can all commune around is food. So they're like, yeah. Some days it's like, hey, girls, here's a box of donuts. Oh, my gosh, you're so sweet. Like, yeah, I'm in now.
Get it.
Get that chaplain over there. Yeah, give me that overtime, though. But, you know, it's really important that, yes, patients and their families need that care, but we also have to remember that we need to take care of the needs of the healthcare providers because y'all need healing too, you know?
Absolutely.
So I appreciate everything y'all do as well.
Yeah, that's a good little plug there. I mean, personally, I know the hardships that, you know, people like me that is in the ER that they go through, and they stuff it and they keep it inside. And there's negative coping mechanisms that are used, you know.
Right.
And it is my hope that things like we doing this, like the podcasting, and me and Jay have tons of plans ahead for the future, and we're excited about the things that are coming ahead. But it's really not so much just to be successful and make money, but it's to make an impact. And I feel like if somebody's listening out there today, you know, when we put this up, that they hear some kind of motivation and inspiration that, you know, we are nobody special, but we have the same feelings, we have the same hardships, we have the same challenges, but we make it because we do it together. And we have friends like you who support us and encourage us, and, you know, we really couldn't have made it in our marriage without you too. I mean, you were there at some pretty tough times, and you know, you held us together. And so, you know, man, it's always good to reminisce and talk about those things, man. But it's getting late, and I know we all want to get
like
get to bed.
that's another long podcasting.
Well, we're definitely gonna have to do this again. We're gonna have to.
This was fun.
Yeah,
this was good.
We're gonna have to do this again. Keoks wants to do like a segment, which I think we're gonna do based on all of our educational journeys, and kind of talk about how we are, because pretty much starting next month, we're all going to be in school, and the kids are going to be in school. Everyone's going to be back in school, you know. So I'm back in school for, you know, and it's just going to get so busy. But it's that educational journey that we're all happy to be on, because we were trying to get better. So you know, well, that will be it for Talk Story, and let's see how this out.
All right, outro. Faith, family, and friends.
Faith,
This was
family,
fun.
and friends.
This was fun.
All right, man. Thanks for coming. We'll see you back next time.
All right.
Catch us on YouTube. Subscribe to Video Chart Productions. He's the one that's putting our good friend Keok is putting together these videos for us and helping us with the podcast. We appreciate all the support. Thanks, everyone.